all went down, and we wanted to catch some reactions to it. What's it been? Almost 2 years, guys, since this is aired?
One
Or a
year.
year?
1 year.
A year.
A little over a year, yeah. Year and a
Okay.
half, maybe.
It's exactly a year. It says Video Sonora.
Oh, but since it aired, I think this was what, spring of 2019, right?
She took on his, accessories, the way she styled her hair. It's like she really transformed as being herself, but also a little bit morphed into who John was. At least how I saw it. Because she wasn't an accessories girl. She wasn't, she was like a gypsy sort of eccentric girl. She grew into her own. Like she really owned up to who she was. But then she found so much of who he was, at least to me.
She absorbed it.
Absorbed. Yep.
Maybe she became who she really was because she was her neighborhood's girl,
Right.
I mean, she lost her innocence, that's for sure. But she became more earthy, more of a flower child. I saw her as, and with her, she created her own world on that farm, a lot of beauty around her. And she created her tribe, really, because everyone there was there to help her heal.
And you've said that to me before, Paula.
Yeah.
You always say, like, look at this episode, look at that episode. They literally revolve, and sometimes literally physically, are revolving around Sanem.
I mean, when she was in later episodes, when he was taking pictures of her, and then you see that change in her when she sees that he's taking pictures, and it's Darren, like they automatically knew what happened. It's like, let me take care of it. Let me pull you out of it. It's like all of them jumped in because they knew.
Because they've seen it happen to her so many times.
When she freezes? Do you mean when she freezes?
Yeah. And he's so taken
Yeah.
aback by it, he can't,
Yeah. He
But what
just
I loved-
wanted to pay her a compliment, and it's just like,
She just disappeared inside herself again. What I love so much about it is they were gone from each other for a whole year, and yet when they come back together, they're so much the same. They evolved to be so much like each other, the same style, the same this I don't know how they could come to be so much the same, growing apart. You know what I mean? The same wild hair, the same. Well, John moved a lot away from his style to his little boat garb, which was
But
very.
it's almost like they changed into.
There was so much to love about this episode. I could go back and watch it again and again, and I was in awe of this episode.
Me too. It's my favorite. Sometimes I have to watch it. And I have a lot of favorites, but this one is, they start to have light coming back into their bodies.
They do. I love this part where they miss each other. They just don't see each other, like ships passing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. With each passing up, like some of the translations, basically the ice of my heart is melting in love. I can't keep my guard up. I can't hold out. I'm afraid when you look at me, but that my heart, the ice around it is melting again. Which is really
I've
what
each
episode going for. Yeah, there's some good translations of the song on. If you Google, there's a few translations, but that's the essence of it.
It is, and they used music so beautifully throughout the show. It would set the scene. It would tell a tale all its own again and again.
And they used the fact that they used the cover instead felt let down by the episodes in the 40s. I liked what they had to work with as actors, and I love what they gave us from those episodes.
It'd be nice if Yeet and Anne got what was coming to them for all of the evil they did, because it truly was evil. They destroyed these two people's hearts.
Yeah, that's what. Oh, go ahead, Deb.
The only thing I'm choked up. The only thing that bothered me was they didn't have an end date, so they were stretching because not knowing how long that they were going to go. So they were stretching, whereas if they had had like a definite time, they could have done such beautiful things with the storyline. Forgive me.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed that so much time was spent on the extraneous storylines
The
when
stretching, ridiculous
we
stuff.
missed out on so much because they spent so much time on these extra storylines, but
Mm-hmm.
yes, because they just didn't know the end date, like Deb said. But that was my only letdown.
Yeah.
I wanted so much more from the ending.
Yeah. Oh, it's a better ending than in Adina Ashk.
Yeah, on a literal
What is it?
freeze frame, right?
For me, that was missing is John's redemption. For me, it started as Sanem's story, but it morphed into John's sort of story. And you know, not to go too much into it, you know, Yogurt didn't get punished. You know, Huma didn't get discovered. And it's just, you know, not saying that Emre, you know, he changed. You can see how Sanem and John's love, it pulled him out of the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
But have, you know, I mean, how many of us, I remember thousands of comments when they had that accident and everybody knew Yigit made it happen. Like we were screaming, how could he do this? And then for it to turn around, no, he just left and they had an unfortunate accident. It's like, there could have been so much more if they had 5-6 episodes left, like
Mm-hmm.
get him discovered, get Huma what she needed, you know, and for goodness, bring it Aziz. What they did to Aziz and Miriban, I was crying.
Right.
They could have made it into so much. And then on their last day, you know, there's so many people that were missing.
Because they
Ihan
really
was
built his
missing.
story up, the father.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I mean, and then, you know, what also made me sad is in the end, when they were doing the wedding scene, everybody got hugged except Emre and Layla. So it was like, okay, well, what, you know, it's just they could have had so much more, and Aziz could have come back, and you know, there's where fan fiction comes into play.
Yeah.
You know,
It
ended in a good way. They had triplets. I mean, not going any comments into, you know, what happens, you know, once and then you have 3 kids in you know, in one push, but
Right.
but you know,
Yeah.
it ended in a fun way. It, you know, they came back to each other. He remembered her. The love came back. Awesome. But the last few episodes, I wish they would have, like you guys say, you know, a little less on the, you know, fake millionaire, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It
Well,
could
yeah,
have been so rich. It
because
could have been.
and they did so well with what they were given. So
yes,
you have
yeah,
to,
oh yes, of
it
course.
makes you want, but it makes you want even more to have those extra side stories cut out, because you know how much more they could have given us if they had more time devoted to the stories, like, you know, the parts that you're talking about,
Right.
rather than these other characters.
I will say this about Yeet, though. His punishment was that he didn't get to have Sanem. And, you know, so maybe he didn't get his butt kicked by somebody for what he did, or worse, but he had to go away and never see her again, really, you know, and he wasn't going to be able to have a relation, any kind of, even a friendship with her. So that would be a big punishment if he thought he was in love with her.
Mm-hmm.
He can go be with Polen for good.
Well, thank you, ladies, for joining me for this quick reaction video. This was very impromptu, but it was fun. And I hope to do many more of these on the wing.
Thank
So,
you too, Rada. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is fun.
hanging out with me.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, ladies. We'll see you again.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Oh,
Yeah.
bye.